You have the timer, so I'm not running everything. Ooh,
No.
Storm, these are my nice pants. Please.
Well, I was posting you in servers because you didn't do that, so that's why I didn't hit start on
I was heading there. But I'm just giving you a hard time. Hello, one and all, and welcome back.
That's okay. I just had a self epiphany thing, just one of those great realizations about myself and things because I called you Boo, and then I was like, wait, when did I start calling her Boo? And then I realized that Boo is like a specific term of endearment I reserve for people. Like very close to, because like the first person I ever called Boo was my cousin Zach, and like to this day he's my boo, my boo boo. And then it's like the number of people I refer to as Boo in my life is like less than 10. So
I'm glad to be included. I have a screaming cat doing circles around me.
You left her.
I did leave her for a whole week. Last night she was very loving, but I kind of conked out less than like 30 minutes after getting home. And then this morning, as soon as I started like rolling around in bed, waking up, she's just literally been screaming at me the whole time. And then I left her again because I took a shower for a whole 15 minutes. And I walked out and she's screaming even more. So if I'm like slightly tilted to the side the whole stream like I am right now, that means I'm giving her attention.
Okay. I was sitting here like last night trying to watch things with the children and play my game, right? And Artemis just absolutely, in her most clingy event yet, would try to lean over my phone so that she wasn't on my phone and she wasn't touching my phone, but so that she was definitively between me and the phone. And I was like, you're already plastered against me. What more do you want?
I have moved girlfriend onto the table.
That's good.
She's now on the desk. Little ears.
Yeah, you left her for a whole week. How dare you?
I know. How dare I go home and graduate?
Also, hello, JC and Rowan.
Hello, Rowan, my biggest fan.
Yes. First things first, everybody. Next week, WIP Wednesday is going to be on Tuesday because Chris and I are taking the children on our family vacation. And
Yay! Family vacation.
We're leaving Wednesday morning, and I want to 100% make sure that Not For Her is ready for my critique partners before I leave. Because I have a meeting with an editor to check for availability and budget. Yes, availability and budget.
That's good. Hi, girlfriend. Yeah, okay. Maybe it was a mistake moving her onto the desk. Thank you, JC. I'm very happy about it. Very excited. You were so cute, and I love you so much, but this is going to be annoying in like a minute and 30 seconds. Mwah!
You know those, I'm sorry, chat, you're not going to have any context for this, but CB, you know those hatchet boxes that like we sort the manga in?
Yes.
Sometimes? I brought one of those home because I needed to transport Chris's Sky, because I picked him up I picked him up a copy of the Sky, which is that big Final Fantasy box with 3 art books.
Oh, okay.
And I also carried some sodas home in it. Well, my child moved everything out of the box for me because I was feeling rough because we had severe thunderstorms. And then I go in the living room and I just see Eros, and he gets in the box and he's looking at it. And I'm like, this is either going to be real cute or I'm going to be real annoyed. What are you doing with the box? And then he just laid down and went right to sleep. And I'm like, you may keep the box.
Aww.
So that's his bed now.
Yeah, my visiting graduation was horribly boring. I do have a video of I screen recorded my face in my whole gown and like pretty makeup and pretty hair. Well, it was super windy because of Ithaca, but still all dolled up. And then I switched to my phone camera, still screen recording. That's what
Hold
it is.
on.
And then I
Very
switched.
quickly, we have 6 seconds.
I'm almost finished. And then I switched to Google and I just have AO3 open. So I might be posting that on my author account and be like, I graduated. Because I can't post it on my main.
That's fine. I froze time for a second. So I will be working on Not For Her final alpha revisions so that I can send the manuscript to my regular critique partners. I am also going to get some medication and a hair tie. I forgot a hair tie, and there's just too much of this right now. I will be getting it layered Saturday.
Storm muted me by sitting on the space bar. I will be working on Storm's Heir, no relation to the cat, on a chapter that stumped me for like a week and a half. But I came up with an idea in the shower that involves a polycule, so I feel motivated.
I will now unfreeze time, and we shall go.
And we shall mute.
Just to let chat know, I updated the questions in the corner.
Hello. Welcome back. How did everyone do that sprint? I should check how I did. I did a lot of chatting, to be completely honest. But I did write. So
I was doing my yellow highlights, which my yellow highlights are essentially rephrasing of ideas, or like what I wanted to get across did not come across. So I need to fix that, or just gotta rephrase this. You know, stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing, which also required me to sit there and stare while I thought. And my youngest came in because she needed to hand me her end of school year awards to put in the sentimental box. And I just have to say that school has an AR program, which for anybody who doesn't know what that is, that's accelerated reader. It's basically you read books and then you take a test on the book, and depending on how well you do on the test, you get points. It is purely a voluntary bonus thing. My child got so many points doing this, they won 60 minutes of unlimited gameplay at Dave & Buster.
Hey!
You know what I got for my AR points?
What'd you get for your AR points?
A little personalized pizza from Pizza Hut.
Hey, that's still something.
That is not comparable.
It is not comparable. It's really not.
But the Dave & Buster's, they're also doing this summer thing where it's for $70 a person, or for $100 per person, you just get a season pass to Dave & Buster's to just unlimited time. So Chris and I had already been planning on doing that, and then we're like, well, we don't want to make her waste this, so I suggested to her, I'm like, well, you could like take your best friend. And so she's very excited about that idea.
Very exciting. I have moved Storm back on the desk. She did really well during the sprint. She let me alone to actually write, but as soon as I shifted my chair and started speaking again, she came out of the closet and started yelling at me, which I'm okay with. I got 225 words. I'm writing a description right now, and I was messaging Sam and Rowan about this, but for other people, I have a character named Yuri, and he also has black hair, and my male lead has my main character has black hair, and so I'm like, oh my god, they both have black hair, they look exactly the same, and like
how that works.
It's not how that works, but I was like, what if people think they look too much alike? Because Yuri is the male lead's best friend. So, like, his love interest has black hair and his best friend have black hair. And I'm like, I don't know, I get weird. Like, what if I describe them too much alike? So I was like, I need to just visualize what Yuri looks like. So I pulled up one of, like, the pit crew kind of things that I use for, like, showing my D&D campaign what my characters look like. Oh god, Storm, that's a keyboard. And I like started making the character, and I'm like, this is so different. I didn't even need to get any farther. I was like, what am I doing? I'm just in my head. But I was like sitting there thinking about what the character looks like as I'm like starting to make them on this little pit crew. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to finish making this. I have plenty of a clear image. I just needed to dedicate a moment to be looking at face shapes and stuff. So I like described that character, and then in a scene where the POV character is contrasting the way Yuri looks with another character because they're brothers, or the other character, the stranger, walks in, picks up Yuri in a hug and goes, "My brother, you live!" And Jason's like, Yuri has never mentioned a brother or any family for that matter, and is like looking at the two of them trying to tell like what do they look alike. They don't. They're not biologically related. They just grew up together, so they're brothers. On the streets. But that was an easy excuse to like compare and contrast two characters and like be able to describe them very well or very in depth while not being like, here's just a paragraph of description, even though that's what it is. And now Jason's sad because he's like, there's so much about my best friend I don't know. And he's not going to find it out in this book. Because the next book is Yuri's, and this is meant to be like, dangle, dangle. Okay, you don't get to find that out by the next book.
Before we go to chat real quick, I just want you all to know how unnecessarily stressed out Fox just made me.
Oh?
Well, like, I've been sending him the critiques so that he can tell me if he thinks if he thinks they are an improvement, if they fix the issue, or if I should redo. I sent him
the adjustments.
I sent him like the critique he made and then the adjustment I made, so that he remembers what his note was.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, if he highlighted a line and it's like, I like this, but I feel like it could be more impactful or phrased a little better. Yeah. So then I would like highlight that comment.
So he sends you the critiques and you send the adjustments.
I'm working off of the critiques he had already sent.
Yes.
Yes. I'm like, he's not actively sending me critiques right now. No.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm sending him the revisions. And this one, the wording I had changed, but like the last one I sent, he just like quote responded and he was like, bah.
Bah.
And I was like, so is it bad? Is it good? I need more details. And he just kept sending bah and then sending lamb gifts. And I'm like, I don't understand. I can't fix it. Then he highlighted part of my thing, and the phrasing on the thing was that their days on the lamb. But it's LAM, not LAMB.
Yeah.
So it was. So I'm just like, so is the change good? I don't. You're just buying at me.
Honestly, I respect.
I would too. If the other thing is, like, I had just Googled how to spell the lamb, because I'm like, it's a phrase I know intimately, but I've never seen spelt.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to.
So I Googled it, and it was like, specifically it is without the B. And so like my brain instantly just said that, you know, my brain very harshly disconnected any connection between sheep and on the lamb. Yeah. So the question during the sprint was, what you working on? Rowan is in the mood for poetry, so writing that today. Nice. CB lied and said she was not kidding. You might have been telling us the truth. Did you in fact lock in?
I did, and then so I spent the first 15 minutes. I have no food in my house because I've been gone for about a week, and I'm really hungry, and I'm like, half my brain is focusing on like, fuck, what am I going to eat after the stream? And I'm like, okay, I can't be sacrificing that brain power. So I placed like a grocery order that I'll pick up after the stream, so now I don't need to worry about it.
Understandable.
And then I was responding to a text from my mother, and then one other person I met at graduation that I accidentally, unintentionally Discord glitched and deleted all of our conversations, or like hid it from view. So I thought my friend like blocked me or something, and I was like, this is really weird, but I don't have another way of contacting them, and I didn't remember their username. Like, we never exchanged phone numbers, we just communicate over Discord. So I was like, fuck. And then I ran into the graduation. They're like, hey, did you I haven't heard from you. And I'm like, I tried. And then blah, blah. And so I messaged them. I found our chat. And then I did lock in and start working. And then immediately as I typed out, I'm going to lock in, I was like, my hair's bothering me. So I got up and dried my bangs. But that only took like 30 seconds. And then I did start working.
Hey, Jessica. People saying hello. Rowan said, I think it went well. I'm almost done with the first draft of the poem.
Is this a new poem?
And Sam, we used to get a gift certificate to the local pizza. Sam, we used to get a gift certificate to the local pizza place, and the gift certificate only covered the personalized ones. Which personalized pizza sounds great, but they're like yay big.
They are, yeah. I like when it's like, this is a personalized pizza, but it's really just like a small pizza.
It's
like,
it's intended for children.
Yeah.
Which, yes, I may have been a child, but I could eat a whole adult pizza by myself.
And you want to, at least every time I get food, I want enough for there to be left.
And Pizza Hut didn't have all those fun pizzas they have now. So it was pepperoni, cheese, or sausage. Those are your options.
Pepperoni.
Jessica spent that time crocheting the star blanket. Ooh. The gradient is looking so pretty nice. JC said, CB, you crack me up so much. And then Rowan said it's a new poem.
Yay! I'm excited to read it when you're done. Or whenever you're cool showing it. I brought, speaking of like crocheting, I brought my embroidery on my trip, and I didn't embroider at all, but it makes it worth it bringing it on my trip because I went to school with my dad yesterday. He's a teacher. And which means I only got 4 hours of sleep because we had to leave the house at like 6:30 in the morning. And so I was like texting like Sam and people as I'm like, because then I did a day of school around elementary schoolers, and then I did my flight, and I was like, I'm nauseous, my eyes are burning, my elbows hurt, and I don't know why, from like sitting on a tray table all day, which I realized later. But I went with him, and I brought my embroidery inside because the kids think the embroidery is really cool, and they go, can you make me one? And I go, no, but I can show you how. But my dad's like polo shirt at work, the emblem of his school, it's like a bee, like had a big rip at the top, and he wears an undershirt and stuff, but like the white backing around the patch was showing, and it didn't look good. So at a break between classes, I like whipped out my black thread and I like re-sewed the patch to his shirt. And I was like, okay, this makes it worth me bringing it because I feel very nifty right now. Yeah. And then I was worshipped by a bunch of second graders because I exist, and the fact that my dad has a life outside of school is crazy to them, and they think I'm awesome. And honestly, that's all my ego ever needs. I need a couple second graders to hang out with me at all times, to make me feel good about myself. Because I can just sit there and be like, oh, that's cool, and they'll just tell me about their lives, and that makes me happy. Maybe I should work with children more often. My parents like, yeah, camp counselor, after school care, like as a part-time job. And I'm like, yeah, I think I do like kids. Not enough to work with them full-time because I think I would want to like die. But part-time, I think I'd really enjoy that. But it was fun. And then I was also sitting there and thinking about my script. 1 second. Yes, exactly, Rowan. And it is heartbreaking when they don't like you. Rowan,
say 1 second to.
I thought you were pulling it up to like prompt me to like, hey, stop talking, answer chat.
No, I was just pulling it up because Rowan was.
Thank you.
If I want you to shut up, I'll tell you to shut up.
You did this like 5 minutes ago.
Yes, because we need. Okay, here's the difference though. 5 minutes ago, I wanted to address chat, and we had not addressed chat. We've addressed all of chat now.
You were right. My chat wasn't updating for some reason. Like it wasn't automatically scrolling down.
When we do live streams, it is a priority to me to address and interact with chat. If chat just wants to sit there and lurk, that's fine.
Yes.
But if chat is talking, I want to talk to chat. Otherwise, I just hang out with you, like we normally do, right?
I appreciate that.
That's why I like to save the rambling and the fun stories for once we catch up. When
Rowan's referencing Arthur, which is my D&D character. I'm playing King Arthur, and we're on Neverland, and I went to talk to children, and they didn't even dislike me. I rolled a 12, and they were just unimpressed.
Yeah.
I had advantage, and I rolled a 12. I have like a +8 to persuasion, and it was bad. And then none of the kids liked me, and I kind of wanted to die, but it's fine. JC goes, yeah, there's something about having kids think you're cool and wanting to talk to you about everything. Exactly. Also talking to them, they were like 7 and 8. And I was like, oh, I can age down the one character in my Queens of Twilight, which is my Sapphic Fae script. There's a child in it. And I had him be 10. I'm like, oh, I can age him down to this age. Like I'm having conversations enough with these kids that I'm like, okay, they could technically feed themselves for a few days if they were like less.
How old are they?
Food. Like they could whip up maybe not mac and cheese, but like a PB&J and stuff. Which yeah. Cool. All right.
Now the star JC's latest comment.
Yes. Into the sprint.
Because it just popped up. Hello. This is break 2? Yeah, this is break 2. That's not the one I want.
Yeah, I think it's break 2. Hi, Steve. All right, let's check on chat.
We have a Steve. Also, what is this question?
I double that. Okay. JC, when my daughter was little and I would take her to school, if her classmates would stop me and want to tell me everything and didn't want me to leave, made me feel like the cool mom. You were the cool mom.
You were.
That is some question, Sam.
Let me explain my question real quick since I see quite a few of those. All right, so my husband is from Florida. I am from Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we have often discussed that the natural disaster of Florida is hurricane and the natural disaster of Tennessee is tornadoes.
Yes.
Therefore, we are very lax when it comes to hurricane or tornado. Like, we had a severe thunderstorm that could turn into a tornado. Like, our phones last night were absolutely buzzing with, like, emergency. They're like, go shelter in place, get there, get there. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. I dismiss it, and then I go back to my phone game. My children's phones also went off, though, so they, like, come in the room, and they're like, Mom, I'm like, everything's going to be fine. We've been through this 1,000 times. You're only scared because your phone yelled at you.
Yes.
But, yeah, you guys can come in here. It's fine. We'll watch a Yu Hakusho. One of them plays the computer. Well,
can I come watch a Yu Hakusho if my phone rings?
Yes.
Next earthquake, I just teleport to Tennessee.
While I was working the convention, there was we have had, like, I think 2 tornadoes in the past week. And while I was at the convention, a tornado actually hit down in Kentucky near my sister, but she's fine. They're all fine and stuff. And I was not actually worried. I was just more annoyed that she hadn't messaged me to let me know she was fine, even though I didn't know there was a tornado.
Yeah.
How dare she? But I was talking to my coworker who was just absolutely terrified and horrified by this. And he was like, everything's fine. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like checking the weather. I'm like, we might have another tornado, or like at least a tornado watch after I get home too. And he's like, why? I'm like, I live in Tornado Alley. This is really not a big deal.
Yeah.
We have a tornado season. I'm like, my husband's the same way with hurricanes. And he's like, I guess being from Georgia, we don't have these things. And I'm like, yeah, you would be too far south for the cold wind from the north to fight with the warm wind from the south, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So
for me,
I was thinking about that. And I have my friend Adam lives in California, and he's the same. Like, I used to hear like a wildfire, and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, we don't even have to leave the house, we're fine. And I'm like, this is your tornado, isn't it? And he's like, yes. So
I guess growing up, it was not really anything when I was young in Virginia, other than like snowstorms. But nothing that would make a phone blare, I don't think. Not that phones were blaring at that point.
Yeah.
And then in Texas, never really got anything, but it would have been a hurricane. And a hurricane hit Virginia right after I left, and then I left Texas, and a hurricane hit Texas. And it severely damaged the house, but luckily we had already sold it. And, I mean, not luckily for them, but luckily for my family.
Yeah.
And put like it underwater almost. And then in Pennsylvania, where my houses have been, so we've lived in, I guess, 3 houses, but out of 2 of them in Pennsylvania, we've lived right next to like rivers or streams or like the canal or something. So severe thunderstorm warnings, flood warnings.
Floods, yeah.
So floods are pretty.
Yeah, we get severe thunderstorms, floods, and then tornadoes, usually with the severe thunderstorms. My buddy in Arizona, his are dust storms.
Yeah. But my parents are my parents, so we've only lived places that are uphill from the water. So it's like severe flooding, blah blah blah, and we're like, oh, it will be really bad when it gets here. But
that was a consideration Chris and I had when picking our house, was how far away from Riverside.
That's my parents, their current house. I had like literally when I was visiting home, flooding warning, my parents like, oh, we're fine. And then I think we went to like a family dinner and my dad's like Ford F-150 and we like drove past where it is flooding and everyone's like, oh, that's fine. I've never seen the water that high. And then here in California, it would be earthquakes and wildfires, which I haven't really lived through it. Well, wildfires happened early this year, but
lived through them. This is a ghost CB
not directly impacting my earthquakes. I haven't really gotten much of, and I'm okay with that.
RP said hi. RP said hi, everyone, popping in after work before I go out for the evening. Hey yo, glad to see you stop by. It's fine, Bella.
No
We're
worries.
just glad to see you when we see you.
I've had a very travel-full week.
Added pics of the blanket to the Discord if anyone wants to see. Yes.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve. How are you? Also, what is this question? I told you.
This is Sam's question.
Steve's natural disasters himself, of course.
Fuck. It's one of my friend's birthdays, and I didn't know.
We'll go wish them a happy birthday.
Well,
Bella lives in the LA, Cali area, so earthquake, fire, and the sun are our natural disaster. Just the sun's existence.
Yeah.
I did not do what I was supposed to do that sprint. I stumbled upon a video, and that led to another video, and the rest is history. What was your rabbit hole of choice for today, JC? If we can know. If these are not shameful rabbit holes. The natural disaster of Florida is Floridian.
So true. I mean, what?
How dare you all, knowing that I live with a native Floridian.
I know, and he's the exception.
He's the exception that proves the rule.
He's one of the good ones.
I'm about halfway through the second scene in chapter 14. Nice. Is the Krampus chapters, right? I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I have a migraine and I can't take my meds for it because I realized I left them in the rental car that my coworkers then drove on to Atlanta. So somebody got them. They're non-prescription, so they're just over the counter. I just got to go to them.
I'm like, are they gonna mail them to you? Like,
no, my prescription migraine med is a shot. And I don't travel with that.
Oh, it's not the nausea ones? I thought that was a prescription.
No. The nausea ones don't help my head. They just help my nausea.
Yeah, right.
Well, I guess to answer the question then, since Maryland is surrounded by quite a few bodies of water, our natural disaster that we're more prone to is hurricanes and flooding. Mm-hmm. Living in Carolina, ours is hurricanes. Mm-hmm. I always associate California more with earthquakes. That's fair.
Yeah.
Surrounded by Lord. I understood you.
So fair.
I guess avalanches and mudslides would be ours. It cuts all of our 3 roads multiple times a year, but it's just another Tuesday for us. Yeah, exactly. It's like these things are when you like actually look at them, they should in fact be horrifying and terror inducing. However, you're so fucking used to them. You're just like, we just got to deal with it. Yeah. Like my kids came in my bedroom and they're like, Mom, should we be scared? What do? We don't have a tornado. I'm like, children, if the tornado gets close enough for me to be concerned, we will go in the garage den. It is the safest place.
Yes.
Right now, I'm still in my bedroom. You're fine.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to leave the children, so I just pull up the security camera so I could look at the sky from my front porch.
That's so valid. I love that.
That's the high-tech version of what Southerners usually do.
Peek out the window, and instead you're like,
how does the sky look? No tornado there. We're good. We get hurricanes sometimes in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
We used to get blizzards before climate change too.
Right.
The other reason I asked this is because before today's WIP Wednesday, I never thought about the fact that my fictional characters who live in more contemporary settings, even the ones that live in fantasy settings, that would also be a natural part of their world. So I'm
natural disasters. Yeah, that's interesting.
Like, that's a thing I should start actively thinking about putting into my writing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I have a storm dragon as a main character, so he can cause natural disasters.
much like Stieg is the natural disaster.
Yeah. Ryan,
Rowan used to get blizzards before climate change too.
Yeah.
It was a Michael Jackson video which sparked nostalgia and gave me more videos. I have the Michael and Janet Jackson duet on my playlist. I fucking love that song in the video. Especially since in the video, in part of the video, for no reason, it has nothing to do with the song or the video's themes. The two of them are sitting on a couch playing video games and they start playfully shoving each other. And I'm like, oh, such brother-sister vibes. I love it. Jessica said tornadoes, hurricanes, and the government because I live in
the government.
Valid
though. Natural about that.
I mean, you do travel with it inside your body. Also, yes, these are the Krampus chapters. I'm copying them into the Ellipsis doc for beta reading later. Awesome. That's exciting. The government. That made me chuckle. Jessica, the government is all of the United States natural disaster. You can't get away from that one. Yeah. But also, it very much falls in line with the theme of the question. What is something we are so used to that is terrifying, but we're just fatigued? True, JC, but I feel like the Texas state government had just always been a natural disaster. Just as fair. I think Texas is also slowly, no, because it's still like they don't yet have a way to deal with it reasonably, but flash snowstorms has been a thing in Texas for the last couple years, right?
It's such a big state, so like there's the mountains.
Yes, but this was not previously an issue at all. This is 100% like within the last 5 years, I think, and it's actually been killing quite a few people. Because they just don't have the infrastructure to keep things warm.
I know when I moved to Texas, I didn't realize that. I mean, I was 9, but I thought it was all deserts and tumbleweeds.
Oh, and no, I'm referring to like the parts of Texas that don't usually, like the very southern parts of Texas, have to deal with that.
I'm like, northern Texas would deal with that, like in the mountains. But
yeah, well, we're not talking about northern. Yeah. We're talking about like, I think down by the Gulf. Texas touches the Gulf, right?
Yes, very much so.
Have either of you had a chance?
The Gulf of Mexico. Just for the record, it is the Gulf of Mexico, not the Gulf of America.
Mexico. I just call it the Gulf for short. Okay?
I know, but I just need to say that because what the fuck?
Okay. Google's actually being sued for that.
Good. I saw
Mexico.
that on Google,
they're like, you can't just
I'm sorry, what?
So I think Google and the government are now being sued by Mexico because they're like, you can't just fucking change the names of shit on maps. That's not cool. But anyway, real quick. No, Bella, you posted it while I was working at the convention. If you could
I was traveling.
Tag me after the stream, not before the stream, because not during the stream, because if I see the red one, I will go investigate. And then I will still not reply because I'm working on my WIP. But post-stream, tag me and I will go look at it so that I don't forget, please. Because I was very interested, but like I said, it was during the con weekend. So, and we have our own power grid that has not been set up for cold weather like that. Yeah. That's right, CV. It is the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, Google should be sued for that ridiculousness. So dumb.
That's so dumb.
Can't just be renaming shit like that. Like, why would... So stupid. But anyway, I think I might actually be able to finish all of my revisions, knock on wood, this stream.
Oh.
Which if I do, means that my 3 CPs that I have right now for Not For Her will be sent today.
In case anyone was wondering, my elbows do still ache. My body
From the tray?
From the leaning on the tray for 5 hours. And
I'm sorry, yesterday when you were messaging me, I too was so tired. My eyes hurt and I kind of fell asleep in and out.
That's so fine. I fell asleep, I think, I don't know, shortly after I sent the elbow text.
I was trying not to fall asleep till I knew your plane took off, so I could be like in case you needed company. But damn, I was tired from the convention.
Worries.
I get that. I didn't know you had a. Yeah, I worked Anime Central up in it was Indiana or Illinois.
I'm glad you know what state you were in.
Whichever one Chicago's in.
Illinois.
Then yes, that one.
My aunt lives there.
Look, I'm dyslexic. I got the.
I know, that's fair. I'm just bad with states. Okay.
You just wanted to pick on me. It's fine.
Did we go over into the next time, or am I just wrong?
Sorry, I was locked in to organizing.
No worries. At like 8 minutes, I looked and I was like, this is, or I think at like 13 minutes is when I looked. And I was like, this is a really long sprint at the last 13 minutes. And so when I opened up and it said 12 minutes, I was like, that was more than 1 minute that has passed.
Yeah, Bella messaged me just now as the sprint ended, I think. Thank you, Bella. I am almost done with revisions. I'm just at a point where I'm waiting for Fox to review the changes, and so any further revisions will just be kind of adjusting my current ones. So I was like, I can't consider this done, so I don't want to start working on my next project for WIP Wednesday, but I still want to be productive, and I need my June schedule. So I was trying to get set up on my June schedule as much as possible before I put out the call, which I will be putting out a call for June guest.
Awesome. I got 295 words. Yuri's brother is now named Ronan. Yeah. I'm writing an emotionally charged conversation where people aren't saying what they mean. They're being like maintaining masks of blah, 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 blah. I'm really excited when my two guys are just going to be in the middle of the woods. We don't have to deal with court politics if we're in the middle of the woods.
That's fair.
I mean, Jason's bringing some with him, but like, not to this level. I'll have at least Rye in the scene being like saying what it means.
I need you to know that I may at some point while reading or critiquing leave comments on the document that is just agony, and I need you to understand the reference at some point.
Misery. Yes. Oh, though it's different on my document.
Yeah, because when they're in the woods, I'll just be
yes. Except those are brothers. I think the princes and agony.
It matters. They're just. I don't look. My musical references don't need real context. I made so many Lion King references in one of my outlines just because that's how my brain functions.
I also sent chapters 1 through 7 a draft to Rowan. Rowan and I did not go through the outline like you and I did, so Rowan's like seeing it
for the first time.
Yeah, first draft stuff.
Yeah.
Which is
hold on. I need everyone to know that Milanote now acknowledges the keyboard shortcut code for the M dash, and I'm excited.
What's the?
Yeah, I don't fucking copy paste from Google anymore.
What's the shortcut?
Alt 0151.
That is so complicated.
You hold down Alt and then you just type 0151.
That is crazy, though. I thought you were going to say, like, Control T or something. I don't know.
No, but it's just like, do.
Okay.
Either way, it's much easier than Googling M dash.
Yes, it is much easier than that. That is wild. But yeah, I have like, oh, he missed his brother. Speaking of Yuri quite often. Have you known Yuri long? And Jason's like, what's your husband's name? Yuri's never mentioned. Perhaps he has by name, but not by brother. My husband's name is Ronan. And then Jason just like, okay, changing the subject. I'm not like, oh. But it took me a while to like figure out how that little exchange was going to go, which it probably didn't need that much brain power, but it's how much I used. I'm glad we did this today, but I'm tired. I wouldn't have left my bed today, probably much, other than maybe getting food if we didn't do the stream.
Same, though. Like, I've been laying in bed thinking of revising, not for her. I'm like, I just want to finish. I'm so close. But my God, does my head hurt. But
yeah.
Nope. I'm like, I will not. I must.
I just realized I was like tracking my word count. And I should probably start that again. Now that I'm back from war, home. Week 3. I'm starting week 3 right now. 5/21. Cool. I forgot what I was gonna say.
So did I. I'm like sitting here trying to remember. You're like, is the vocalization. I'm gonna check in on chat while you.
That's a great idea.
I'm heading out a little early, feeling head coldy. See you guys. Oh, hope you feel better.
No.
Oh yeah, the sprint ended. You did, but I wasn't going to say it. Juicy. You watching them videos. I was loving the extra time. That's fair. I made some leftover spaghetti and meatballs and got the first scene of chapter 15 done. Nice.
Nice.
What does the shortcut do? I'm confused. Oh, okay. So there's the N dash and then there's the M dash.
EN and EM.
Yes, they are named such because the EN dash is only one bump, and then the M one is the size of 2.
Hyphen, yeah.
Yeah. So I prefer using the M dash for organizational things because it provides a larger space, and that's better for my dyslexia. It's also just really nice to use in writing because you essentially use it when you're adding in an unrelated thought. Like, when you're texting somebody and then you put something in parentheses because it has nothing to do with anything, but this is where you're adding it. That is what you can do that with an M dash in writing. So it's one of my favorite things. And therefore I know the shortcut by heart because I know how to do it in a document. But Milanote, when it first came out, did not, in fact, have those. So.
Like an aside. Yes, I enjoy it too. Apparently, the EM dash is fucking the AI like scanners like that teachers put papers through and stuff. Apparently, one of the scanner is AI and it's also looking for AI. One of the biggest things it looks for is EM dashes, M dashes, and like flags them. And I'm like,
why? I know how to use them.
Exactly.
Leave my M dashes alone. Next week is the 26th, and it will be my channel.
It will be your channel.
4th is your channel.
And Pride Month.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, my brain very callously was like, that has nothing to do with my organizing the schedule for Wednesday. But yes, June is Pride Month.
Yeah.
No, I was actually attempting to write something. I wrote a whole paragraph and then hated the word and erased it.
Oh
no. So I have no word count to give you, but I think I know what I want it to be.
Okay.
You know what you have? You had practice, and then now you have experience.
A warm-up. What are your plans for the rest of the day?
Probably to try to finish up a bit of the June schedule, and then I don't know. I didn't have any. At 10:30 tonight, I have a chat with an editor, but other than that,
I'm gonna go pick up groceries and then eat and then lay in bed and maybe take a nap and then possibly play Baldur's Gate tonight. We
need to figure out another day to stream Baldur's Gate.
We do.
Also need to look into using OBS.
Yes.
My project that I will be, not for her, is with my critique partners.
I
will be working on story. Hold on. I have to go look up the title. It has a title. It's the sweetest something. The sweetest secret or some shit like that.
Also, fun fact for chat: one of the lurkers, maybe my grandparents. Apparently, they watch Wednesday streams. Sometimes.
This will change absolutely nothing about my behavior.
It will change absolutely nothing. But I did, when they said that, I just had a flash of all the times we talk about sex. We talk about sex a lot.
Let me tell you, if I wouldn't alter my behavior for my own grandmother, I'm not altering.
No, I'm sure she's fine with it. But I was just like, for a second, I just had like all of those memories streaming past my head, and I was like, oh, cool.
It's not. I'm gonna assume it's not just the focus on the times we've talked about sex. It's all those comments you've made specifically about. Oh, I know what I want to say, but the words are not coming down. The begging comments. You know what I mean? Make
so fun. So fun.
Yeah, it is the sweetest secret, by the way.
We know we have another sprint.
We got a minute left though.
Yeah.
And I was talking about my project for next week because
seeing something we can talk about.
I'm waiting for my sister to get back to me to finish off this week, but next week I will be working on The Sweetest Secret, which my little thing says dedicated to Tantrum Tina with a Sam heart, story title The Sweetest Secret. A witchy baker in the modern era secretly creates pastries tailored for each customer. Some are for pure comfort, some are for healing. With her wife's birthday fast approaching, she's determined to create the perfect surprise treat for her sweet tooth sweetie.
Aww.
I know. I read what I have of it.
Yeah.
A bit ago. Oh, when Fox had the document, I went ahead and I read what I had of it so I could be prepared for it. It's sweet, and I was so nice to myself, and I left notes on the pastry and how like I was like, yes, I did all the planning and all the research already. I just need to finish the first draft. Passing. So
nice.
Bella got accepted into Pierce for a non-degree course.
Yay!
Personal development classes. Awesome. We're very excited for you. And now we are going into the final sprint. Hey you. I have to hunt down the DM I had with somebody. There it is.
Hi. I came up with something called bullberries. And I'm sad I will never taste them because they don't.
I looked at it and bullberries. I was like, is that a fantasy term for bullshit? I need to know, but then no, it's
a juice or it's a type of a fruit. And I was like, I'm gonna give him apple juice, and I'm like, no, I can't give him apple juice and keep a straight face. And even like grape juice, grapes are like grown in a very specific climate. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just come up with something, a random. I'll do berries because there's so many different types of berries, and a bullberry. I mean, that sounds like it's real. And then I was like, oh, why doesn't he drink this anymore? And I'm like, it's a commoner's drink. And he was told not to. That was not his decision. But his dad, the emperor's like, oh, that's beneath you. You can't drink that commoner's. And I'm like, bitch, I hate you. The more I write you, I hate you. So
I finished my revisions and sent off my documents.
Yay! I know. I saw that. I was very excited to see. Wait, let me check my word count. It is not very much. Yeah, 117. I forgot what I was doing. I had to figure something out on my phone first. And it was something like, oh, I'll just take this second. Getting coffee with a friend tomorrow. I love like hanging out with people, but I feel like being an adult, to hang out with people, you have to spend money.
Depends.
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's meet up for coffee. And I'm like, but coffee's expensive. I mean, I don't drink coffee. I drink other things, but
I think it just depends on the level of friendship, because like my knee jerk would just be like, you want to come over? We could watch stuff.
My dad's sending me a drywall anchor. He just sent me a text about it, and I'm like, how am I going to get this in the wall?
JC got 615 words. That's awesome. Jessica, the question for the fourth sprint is just to check in and see how everybody did, how they're feeling. Today, she's gotten chapters 12 through 15 input, so she's feeling pretty good about it. Time to chill and play games for the rest of the day. Nice.
All right.
I've got to harass Matt about dates. I don't actually have to.
I got 806 words.
Nice.
It's not my usual numbers, but I'm satisfied with that for the state I am today.
I have to abduct you for a little bit post-stream to discuss book talk dates.
Okay.
Speaking of, you remember we have one this weekend, right? I almost did not.
It's not on my calendar, so no, I did not remember that.
So rude. Put it on your calendar.
I blame the calendar.
We will be reading Night Embrace by Sherilyn Kenyon.
Yes. On Sunday?
So excited to read it.
On Sunday?
Are we going to do it on Sunday?
I'd love to do it on Sunday because I made plans on Saturday.
I see. I see. Then you should have the book read before Friday.
Look, I'm checking it out from the library now. What's it called?
Night Embrace by Sherilyn Kenyon.
Okay, that's really nice, Libby. I'm glad you have more filters. Do I already have it? Loans? No. Night Oh, in my D&D game, I named a character after Sherilyn Kenyon.
I misheard you and thought you said you have your D&D game on Sunday, and I'm like, I triply, quadruply check these days.
I know. I made a plucky young reporter, who's kind of like cutthroat also. And I named her after Sherilyn Kenyon. Her name's Sherilyn, and then she has a different last name. But all of my players loved her.
I named a character after Amelia at some point in my life.
I don't know what it is. Who's Amelia?
Amelia Atwater.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
That's fine.
But I've named a variety of characters today. I was very I named the librarian character. She's not a librarian, but she gives off librarian vibes. Her name's Penelope. She goes by Pen. And then that's her, and then Ronan are two parts of the polyamorous relationship. And their spouse, the third, probably won't appear in this book, but they exist.
I'm fixing a fuck up.
Okay.
Hold on. We will be doing 2 4FAs next month, and I had forgotten there was a specific day I wasn't supposed to do.
Okay.
But it's a quick fix.
A quick fix.
So,
yeah. I am going to Dimension 20 Battle at the Bull on June 1st. Very excited about it. I have a terrible seat, but that's okay. I'm still excited to go. I want to say other stuff, but I can't. I'm considering doing cosplay, but I can't think of a D20 character that has my hair.
That is unfortunate.
Part of me wanted to be Sophia Lee. Because I was like, I feel like that would be fun, even though I kind of want to be one of the bad kids too, but I don't have blonde hair anymore. Like, I want to be Adine, but I don't have the right hair or a jean jacket.
Hold on. Bella spent that sprint doing laundry and dishes. Very important. I actually thank you for reminding me. I have to do my laundry.
Storm threw up on one of my blankets, so I have to watch that.
Also, I had a Zelda tank top and shirt for every day of the convention, except Saturday. Saturday was because it is now a thing. Every time I work a convention on Saturday, I wear my 90s anime shirt.
That's fair. You're like, I need to hit a lot of bases on the first day. Mentally prep. Are you prepped?
Saturday is not the first day, it's the busiest day.
Right, whatever.
No, it's so I can find my people, because so many people who go now are not my age group. we recognize each other, and then we're like, aha, yes, we exist.
Are you prepping outfits for visiting me?
No, I don't prep outfits. No. I just look in my closet and I go tank top, tank top, tank top.
Do laundry here.
T-shirt, legging. My wardrobe is largely all the same colors, so mixing and matching is not difficult.
You're on my calendar. I didn't have my family vacation on my calendar until this stream, but you're on my calendar.
As it should be.
Very excited.
This week and next week, Bella will be making little teddy bears, because why not? I love that. I also love the reason.
Like crocheting teddy bears, or like
sewing how are you doing it?
Or drawing them, or doing out of beads?
Well, I presume from making it is not drawing.
Yeah, but I was like, maybe.
I know you were covering your bases.
Trying to cover all my bases. I feel like it's definitely going to be one I missed.
Does anyone have any lighthearted werewolf romance books? Ideally if they're polyamorous, but let me tell you.
No.
So let me tell you, here's the thing with werewolf, right? The origins of werewolf stories in fiction is largely about man fighting the darkness inside themselves. And regardless of how the genre has evolved over time, much like the vampire genre is still reflecting its core roots in sexual things, werewolves are still largely about dealing with heavy shit. But I would love to read something lighthearted. Honestly, maybe Sherilyn Kenyon's Were Hunter series might be the most lighthearted.
I've read some fan fiction that has like alternate universe werewolves that's pretty lighthearted. So if you have a fandom, maybe search under that tag. Because it's more about like, I don't know. I would try and read some fanfic. I mean, that's obviously not officially published and stuff. But if you're like, hey, how do other people take this concept? I would look there. And on that note, I do need to roll out to go get my groceries. One of my pens exploded, and now it's like all over my hands.
Wolf Gone Wild appears to be a light-hearted werewolf story. Excuse me while I screenshot things I want to read. No, it's got this really kind of cute, whimsical cover. It's Spellbook 1. Oh, that means it's probably a werewolf. Look, let me tell you, in my teen years, I was like, you know what would be a really cool romance concept? Witches and werewolves. You know what's now a weirdly popular
Witches
thing?
and werewolves.
Yes. I will take credit for putting it into the universe. These other things say they're lighthearted, but I don't know about those covers. Mead mishaps that time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. Book 2.
Book 2.
That time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf.
It's so funny.
I have no idea what any of these are, Bella. I just looked up lighthearted werewolf novels and started looking wholesome werewolf novels. Because I figured that a lot of people who like werewolves got real sick of the aggro alpha boom and so started making lists and stuff online about ye old fashioned werewolf books. Cute. I want the cute. Not too steamy either. I found somebody who wants what you want, Bella. Someone has recommended the Mercy Thompson series by. I've heard of that one. I have had people recommend that to me.
Mercy Thompson?
Yes, the Mercy Thompson series. Mercy is a VW mechanic who can usually be found in coveralls covered in dirt and grease. Yes, there's an alpha who is dominant, but he respects women and has a teenage daughter. He's an old-fashioned werewolf. It also has the only love triangle I've ever seen that ended well for all three parties. My curiosity
I love a well-ended love triangle.
The Nocturne Falls series by Bella, I'm gonna send you a link to this Reddit tab so you may investigate these. Which I do, as I was saying, I do find that when I want to find a specific thing and I'm having a hard time, I just assume there's another reader out there who has also had my struggle and hope that they have already done the legwork for me.
Because someone else figured this out first.
Oh, my bad. Jessica said The Alpha Son by Penny Jessup is more lighthearted than all the other werewolf things I've read. No spice, though, as it is YA. And then Bella said she appreciates it. There's also 3 books so far in the Alpha Son series. The Alpha Son, Chasing the Alpha Son, and the third one, Running with the Alpha Son, is coming out June 3rd. That is one of the most book series of titles I have read.
I'm kind of here for it, though.
I love it.
Well, different men?
I like. Well, see, that's just like kind of standard romance novel titles in a series sometimes. It's very easy to spot that they are, in fact, a series and by the same author.
I appreciate that.
I do. There is one series about Highlanders that did that. Like claiming the Highlander, chasing the Highlander, being caught by the Highlander.
A little reversal there.
Claimed by the Highlander. Oh, very subtle changes.
Yeah, I would definitely get confused if I was reading these. It's like, was that this one or that one? They have the same words, just in slightly different like formats. I do need to dip out to go get groceries. So it's going to be the end of our stream.
Yeah,
I'm running it. I'm just saying now. Bye!
See y'all.